Good evening, and welcome to the television graveyard. We are your TV necromancers, Laura Prince and Noah Houlihan. We have come here tonight to exhume the spirits of past television shows to find out which ones could be resurrected, should be resurrected, and which ones should just stay doomed. This will be a podcast in which we analyze the history, the hype, and the aftermath of shows that ran only one season, including some that ran only one episode, and some that never ran at all. With me as always is Noah Houlihan.
I'm very well endowed biologically.
Really scraping for this one.
What was a better line? What was a better line in this show? Exactly.
This week we're doing the 2009 pilot Area 57.
Yes, happy RI Pilots Month.
Yep. This was a Mathew Lillard vehicle.
Yes, indeed. You may know him as Shaggy or Freddie Prinze Jr.'s friend.
Or you probably know him as the killer from Scream.
Is he the killer in Scream?
Yeah. He's one of them.
Yeah. No. I've never seen Scream.
Yeah,
I thought the guy in the ghost mask was the killer.
Who do you think was under the ghost mask?
Ooh! I didn't consider that.
So it was a Mathew Lillard vehicle in which he plays Lieutenant Colonel Isaac.
Also, spoilers for Scream.
Spoilers for a 23-year-old film.
Just saying. Spoilers for Scream.
Darth Vader, Luke's dad.
Whoa! Spoilers for Star Wars.
Rosebud, his sled.
Don't say who's. Don't ruin it. You'll ruin Citizen Kane if you say who's it is. Bit over. So let's get through this show.
Oh my god. Mathew Lillard is Colonel Isaac, and he is sent to... We see him in a car being driven to his next assignment.
Yes, not Colonel Isaac from Dead Space. This is a different, less interesting man.
Correct.
Mathew Lillard is on his way. He's in like a Humvee, and he's on his way to Area 57, which is like Area 51, but 6 numbers higher.
But not copyrighted.
By what? The government?
I don't know. In the car, he is told there is an alien.
Yes. Which, let's start here. Mathew Lillard is in this Humvee, and he's reading why he's going there.
Right. He is not given the materials till he gets in the car because it's a classified assignment.
Yeah.
Colonel Isaac, welcome to the research facility at Bride Lake, Nevada. You will now command the unit responsible for the care and analysis of ECA 65-3, the designation assigned to an extraterrestrial living here in captivity.
Extraterrestrial? So, this is the question I want to ask throughout this episode. Is Mathew Lillard being brought here because he's the most qualified person? Or is Mathew Lillard being brought here because he's being punished?
I think that's something that we were meant to find out.
I don't. I think it's something they didn't bother to think about.
I think it's one of the mysteries of, like... Because a lot of what we hear is that he's fairly competent.
Yeah.
So...
He's got, like, degrees in, like, biology, and he has, like, all these hopes and dreams to help the world and stuff.
Yeah, so what we see of him, he's reasonably competent. We have to hear that because we don't really see it.
No.
Like, at all.
No.
And
it's
so,
very confusing.
I didn't catch the character's name, but he is greeted by Jane Lynch.
Oh, I do not plan to use character names this entire podcast.
Jane Lynch, you know from films such as Best in Show.
Yes.
And her star turn as Sue Sylvester on Glee.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
This was right before Glee, so I think it really worked out for her that this didn't get picked up.
Yes, she is supposed to be, and that's something you're going to hear a lot from me, is the word supposed to, be the worrywart.
Yeah, she's like a hypochondriac. She's afraid of
the wind?
Because they are near a nuclear test zone.
Yeah.
She's afraid of when the wind blows from the south because it's radioactive.
But she's the only one that's afraid of it.
It might be the only sane man situation of like... Because there's also an alarm when the wind blows from the south. And other people react to it.
That is true. That is true. So...
I think the juxtaposition is that the general does not care about anything.
Yes.
I think that's what you're thinking of.
And we are brought into... We meet the general who is beating the hell out of this little man.
Yeah.
And the joke, air quotes ahoy, is that this little guy is the most positive man on the planet.
You know who he reminds me of? Have you seen the movie Pocahontas?
Yeah.
Wiggins? Governor Ratcliffe's, like, yes man.
Oh, I was going to say more of like a Smithers. Or...
They're not dissimilar characters.
Like, I don't want
Wiggins is more positive and, like, cheerful in that way.
Smithers or, like, Kip is a bad comparison. Kip from Futurama. Because no matter what abuse he's taking, he's still legitimately happy.
Yeah, that's Wiggins.
He's not putting on a happy face. He's just taking it. And, like, oh, excellent punch, sir.
Yeah. We discussed that the general does not like the word extraterrestrial or alien.
Yes.
And it's an extended, not very good joke where he calls him a different nationality every time.
Yeah, because it starts with...
We have a guest here, Colonel. A guest that your government considers so important that this entire complex, all of these buildings, everything that you see, was built just to accommodate this visitor. Is it from another planet? Maybe. Or is it some kind of Chinese person?
And then there's like a beat of silence where like everyone in the scene, including us, the audience, are just uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then it's broken by the alarm with the winds from the south. And then they call the alien an Eskimo.
So at this point, the audience surrogate is supposed to be Mathew Lillard.
Yeah.
Because we're entering this world with him. So he represents us.
Correct.
I hate him. I hate his stupid face, and I hate how he's handling every situation.
Now, to be fair, at this point, I don't hate him yet. Because at this point, he has just said to the general, essentially, like, I intend to do my duty, I intend to do a good job. Mm-hmm. He's not an idiot yet.
Yet being the key word.
Yeah, and I think there actually might be a little bit of a point to when he becomes an idiot, when he splits from being an everyman to a bumbler, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
And then we meet Dr. Lynn.
Dr. Lynn is...
the young female doctor.
Yes.
Who is tending to the visitor.
Yes, and informs us that the visitor has died.
And then, like, Isaac thinks it's a joke.
But
like
no,
that he's getting hazed.
It's not a joke. And I hated the way he said that.
Meet your new team leader, Colonel Stephen Isaac.
It's dead.
What?
I was monitoring its vitals an hour ago, and...
Wait. Dead, you say?
It's gone, General.
This is a joke, right? Is this a joke?
I think you just don't like him as an actor.
No, I love Mathew Lillard.
Oh.
I'm actually a big fan of his. He was in Hackers.
Okay.
He's just terrible in this show. This is a joke. Like, why would you... You're on a military base. Like, that's something that if you're in the military, you would never say to your superior.
True. We find out that this has been called Project Martini. It is being shut down, and everyone's going to ship out in 2 hours. And this is met with mass rejoicing.
Yes, a bunch of people rejoice. This is where we see, and this is where we get the big Noah laugh of the episode. And that is, as they're all trying to leave, they bring up the person he was going to be replacing.
Yeah.
And the reason he was replacing him was because the visitor gave him information that he could use to gamble. He convinced him that there was a cow.
Cows could predict the future.
And a cow could predict the future. And they show him being, like, carried off, and he's just screaming,
I need to get to Vegas. Wait, let me go. 49ers are a lot. Hey, talk to the cow if you don't believe me. Buttercup knows. Buttercup knows.
And then Matthew Lillard says, well, what happened to the cow? And there's a shot of a cow being dragged away by a helicopter.
Yeah, like almost like the goat that gets fed to the raptors in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's just there and then it's gone, and I giggled.
And it's a weirdly expensive shot. Like, it's
Yeah.
probably not
It's
terribly
CGI.
expensive, but for a pilot, it's like a lot of things in this show look reasonably expensive.
This show looked super expensive. There's not a set to be found. Like, we are not on the back lot of something. They're in airplane hangars and, like, things that were built. They're really outside a lot.
Yeah, and outside is notoriously a little tricky.
Yeah, so, like, they clearly found a location to do this. And, like, for the most part, you'd say that it's not very expensive because it's like, oh, they just found an empty hangar and filmed in it. But no, they built, like, a weird cubey cell. And it looks like this is such an expensive show.
They built him like what I can only call a Magneto cell.
Yes! He's in a Magneto cell. It looks so expensive. Oh, so Matthew Lillard wants to see the body of the visitor.
Because he's come out here for nothing, I guess.
And then the guy who was meant to be in charge of this mission spills his coffee on him.
Yeah.
And that
spills his coffee on the corpse of the alien.
Yeah. Way to go, audience surrogate. And brings the visitor back to life.
Which is our first, like, confusing, this makes no sense thing.
I think what they meant to establish is everyone hates being there. They were all going to leave. Matthew Lillard screwed it up. So now everyone hates Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to justify why he's then treated the way he's treated.
Yeah.
Which this is not. It's not.
Now, at this point, we have not seen the alien.
Yeah, because he's been busy being dead.
And there's a moment where they're trying to build romantic tension between Lind and Isaac.
Really? You think?
I think they're trying to when Isaac says something and Lind tells him it's like...
Look at the facial features. It's so sad. One small step for man. One giant leap backwards for mankind.
What a beautifully sad and poetic way of putting it.
Thank you. My mom always made sure that us boys were very well read.
Well, that's very important for children.
It is.
But, like, the performances sell less than no chemistry?
Yeah. So, they bring him back to life. Everyone hates Matthew Lillard because now they have to all go back to work. And then we get to see the alien talk to Matthew Lillard.
Who plays him? Who plays him now?
It's Paul Reubens. He looks kind of like the alien that Alan Rickman plays in Galaxy Quest, but not as good.
Almost like they shared a director.
Oh, did I hit something?
You did.
Nice! Points!
But if you took all of the things that were great about Alan Rickman's character in Galaxy Quest, you would have none of the things in this character.
Yeah, the basic crux of this is the alien is a douchebag.
And he really is.
So, in the first conversation that Matthew Lillard has with the alien, he's trying to, like, reach him. And the alien says something like,
Exactly what are your qualifications for this assignment, Colonel Stephen Isaac?
Should I repeat the question? No. I graduated from the United States Air Force Academy with a degree in strategical studies. I then received an endowment to continue my research in cellular biology. After I
Endowment?
I received a generous endowment. And then I went into advanced weaponry systems.
That's Dr. Lynn.
I'm not really... Uh-huh.
Don't you just love Dr. Lynn?
Yeah, she seems very committed to her work.
Well, the men all regard her as a perfect physical specimen.
She is what General Fogel would call a real hot number. He was my old CO back in McGuire. He was never really one to mince words, if you know what I mean.
Whatever he says.
When he's like, we've now hit the turning point where he's stupid.
He's supposed to be in charge. He is in charge of this now. And this is his first interaction with the visitor.
Right.
And he's going to talk about the attractive nature of the doctor. Stupid.
And it's also just very dumb because, like, you would answer that question in a much different way at work, where you'd be like, you know, she would be considered an attractive female on your planet. Yes, what is your point? Like...
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, he mentions why he's qualified for this. And this is where he says something like...
He's endowed with multiple degrees.
Yes, in biology and things like that. So then when Jane Lynch comes back in, the visitor says...
The Colonel was just expressing his love for Dr. Lynn.
Oh, no, he was saying, or it was saying... Which one is it, by the way? Is it he or it?
According to Colonel Isaac, Dr. Lynn is hot number, which I'm assuming is a compliment?
This is inappropriate.
Well, hold on a second.
I'm very uncomfortable.
Just hold on 1 minute there.
Oh, the Colonel also informed me he is endowed.
Huh?
Okay, we need to stop there.
Generously endowed.
And Jane Lynch loses it in the only time where I laugh.
I hate this.
Oh, it's cringy. And not very good.
We established before this scene that they've been on this base for 40 years dealing with this visitor. Do you think Jane Lynch, who's been experienced here for decades, would go, oh, the new guy's a scumbag, or the visitor's doing the thing he's been doing for the last 40 years?
Yeah, they do refer to him repeatedly as manipulative before this. It seemed like it was contrived to set Lillard up.
Yeah, how are you not onto this?
Yeah.
You're all on the same team! How do you not immediately read, oh, the alien's doing the thing the alien does?
Yeah.
Oh, so frustrating. Oh, so what happens next? Is this the spaceship scene?
We have the bus is on fire. The bus that they were all supposed to take catches fire.
What happened here?
I don't know. I was checking my notes on something else when this happened.
I watched all of it. I don't know why the bus was on fire.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know. Maybe we were supposed to be like, oh, the alien did it or whatever, but the alien didn't need to do it because Mathew Lillard already brought him back to life. This is dumb.
Yeah, I mean, we do establish that the alien has telekinetic powers before the end of the episode.
Yeah, so maybe that you want to dissect the possible lore of this show. Maybe the visitor did it. But in the grand scheme of things, man, does this not matter.
True. And then we go and we just have an unnecessary scene of Isaac looking at the alien spacecraft, which was like to show how much money this pilot had.
I disagree that it's unnecessary because this establishes why they're doing things. Because he looks at this big, grand spaceship.
Yeah.
And he like investigates it, and it looks beautiful. Like, they do a good job. It's clearly not really there.
Yeah.
But, like, it's really good CGI, and I don't know when this came out.
2008.
2008? Like 10 years ago? That's pretty good CGI.
All right, maybe I think it was in the spring 2009 pilot season.
Okay. So, Mathew Lillard goes to investigate it. He touches it. It shocks him. He throws against a wall, and he basically loses control of part of his body.
Yeah, he essentially has a seizure.
I felt like it was more of like when Jar Jar Binks sticks his head in the pod racer beam.
Yeah, fair.
He's just kind of like, I'm messed up now. And he's like, I touched it. I touched the spaceship.
And the General handles this better because General's like, you touched spaceship?
Yeah, he touched the spaceship.
And that's what I wanted to see for more of the show. Of like, him reacting and everybody else being like, this is normal.
Right. And they're also putting him on probation.
Yes.
when this is happening. So Mathew Lillard is trying to argue at this point that he shouldn't be put on probation, but his face is all messed up. So Mathew Lillard is acting the hell out of this scene.
He's trying, man.
He's acting...
We need a word with you, Colonel.
Sir, I touched the spaceship.
You what?
I touched it.
We're placing you on probation, Colonel Isaac.
Probation? Why are you putting on probation?
You have engaged in inappropriate behavior and suggestive language.
Oh, he must have touched the disc. Was there a static charge? Yeah, you'll be all right.
Dude, I hit the wall.
You may lose a little bit of hair, a couple of fingernails. I think it's time we put some kind of sign on that sumbitch.
Oh, that's an excellent idea, General.
That is good.
And this will explain the process of your probation, the steps you need to take, and your obligations
really
in order to
necessary?
rectify this. And there's a website listed. For more information.
Oh, my God.
Like, he's acting the hell out of this. He's trying so hard because he's completely committed to the fact that part of his body doesn't work, but he's still in the scene trying so hard. The problem is this doesn't make any sense. And because they make some sort of joke like, we should put a sign up.
Yeah, like technically it's an OSHA violation.
Yeah, so the idea is that they've been here for 40 years and no one's been trying.
Yeah.
For 40 years. No one has tried.
And I think this is a problem that we needed to establish Mathew Lillard's characters being more by the book and more strict and stern.
Yeah.
Before he walks around, like, touching stuff.
Because we then get a scene, and this is, like, important. He's talking to a scientist and the happy guy. And he's like, what have you learned from the science? What have you learned from the visitors? And the happy guy says,
well, we are weeks, if not days away from locating
The door.
the door.
Door?
and he's like, you haven't gotten anything from him, have you? And they're like, no. And this is establishing, like, it's been 40 years and
he's just been a jerk to people.
no progress. This is why everyone is
Frustrated.
tuned out. This is why everyone wanted to go home. This is why nobody cares. The problem that this, like, is bringing up is, like, why is Mathew Lillard brought in?
Right.
This again brings up the problem of, is he being punished for being an idiot somewhere else? Or is he the best man for this job? Because once he finds out, oh, you haven't got anything, he goes in, he's like, I'm going to get something out of the alien.
Yeah.
Like, he then suddenly becomes a leader.
And he tells off the alien really viciously. And the alien pretends to cry in a really obvious wounded gazelle.
Mm-hmm. And Mathew Lillard immediately falls for it. And Isaac immediately falls for it. And they become friends. And the visitor then gives him
a rare metamorphic rock from my planet.
Yeah, this rare stone.
And Noah immediately, when we were watching it, went, that's poop.
It's poop. It's going to end up being poop. I bet you it's poop.
And then Isaac plays into the joke with that the general's been calling it all the different names. And he goes, the Mexican. And Irene goes, whoa!
Yeah, you can't say that. But, like, we then cut, like, after he gets the stone, we cut to him leading a press conference with the people that are there.
Yeah, he's, like, doing a big ceremony to announce he's gotten something from him.
He was on probation minutes ago!
Yep.
Like, it's the same day. Like,
Yeah.
It's not even like this is pilot is a bunch of, like, time. He went from, I don't know why I'm here, to everyone get together. I have an announcement after being put on probation.
Yeah, in, like, less than 6 hours.
What is happening?
So then he shows everybody the rock with great ceremony and is met with panic.
Yeah, everyone panics. Like a hazmat team comes and cleans and like starts hitting him with
and starts
a
like
power
hosing
washer.
him down.
Yeah, and then that ends.
Yep.
We never find out what it was going to do, and why people are panicking.
Nope.
That scene just ends.
And then the general and his servant are playing golf.
Just to clearly state this, General is hitting golf balls, and the happy guy is trying to catch them. I mean, he's firing them at him.
He's like measuring how far they go.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
I think he's trying to hit them into something.
Perhaps. I don't know, but it's very dumb.
But Isaac approaches the general and announces that his resolve is steel and the general can count on him. And then we get our clue as to why Lillard got the job. It's because he's enthusiastic and optimistic, and the general thinks he could last months, maybe even a year.
And then, this is the moment of maximum confusion for me.
Yeah.
A jeep falls from the sky.
Yep.
Smashes very close to where the general had just been. And the general's response is, my golf club.
Yeah.
Which actually, and then like, he turns and the visitor is out playing basketball because apparently he gets to leave his cell.
Yeah, he gets recreation time.
And just kind of like gives Mathew Lillard a look. Almost as if it implied that the general didn't see the truck. Like he just looked over and his golf club was broken.
Well, he's also messing with the basketball a bunch, like doing supernatural things with it. So I think it's more of signaling what his power is to Lillard. And, like, that way, like, look what I can do. Don't make my life too hard.
And then it just ends.
Yeah, so I read, there isn't a lot of research on this. A lot of people found this and have reviewed it, and we seem to be in the minority. A lot of people thought this was very funny.
Wow.
I don't know, I really didn't like this.
What? Oh my god.
I think the problem is it asks us to believe everyone is too stupid.
There is...
And Lillard needed to be established as being brilliant to make his fall work. Instead, he's established as kind of just a guy. So when he ends up being an idiot, we're like, well, yeah, he's just kind of a guy.
Yeah. Like, there's no reason to like him. He's not good at anything.
Nope.
And, like, the show was only a half hour, right?
Yep.
This wasn't, like, an hour thing.
It was a pilot, so it was about 22 minutes.
By the end of it, it feels hopeless.
Yeah.
Like, no one has ever gotten one over on the alien in 40 years. So, why would we think that things were going to get better? And more importantly, what is the goal?
Yeah, like, I think this needed to end, this show, to be effective, needed to end with Lillard getting a small victory over the alien.
This is how it should have ended. It should have ended with Mathew Lillard saying something like, "Don't worry, I've dealt with one before."
Yeah.
Or something even like crazier of like, his species killed my wife.
Let's not jump right to stuffing a woman in the fridge.
I'm just saying, like, or his partner, or something. Something where, like, he would have motivation to continue.
Yeah.
Because
even if it's, like, the standard motivation of the devil, like, think about, like, the Devil Wears Prada. If he lasts a year here, he can write his ticket.
Right. But, like, his motivation is...
I want to do a good job.
Yeah, it's not even I want to do a good job. His motivation is that he's very smart and he wants to do something to help the world. He says something along those lines.
Right.
There is no evidence through the entire episode that that can happen in this location.
It's true. We don't really have any idea or any proof that Mathew Lillard can do anything in this.
Because, like, even something like, instead of them having gotten nowhere, one of them should have said something like, "I saw him open it once, and inside the spaceship was treasure." Something.
Yeah.
Inside was MacGuffin. And this way, be like, okay, goal.
Yeah.
Something to want to happen.
The show needs an objective. Mathew Lillard's character needs an objective.
Mm-hmm.
Or
maybe something to make the alien likable.
Right.
Something where it's just like, after he screamed at him and stuff like that, he says something like, "You've kept me prisoner for 40 years.
Yeah. Don't I get to have a little fun?
Yeah, like, does he want to go home? We don't know. Does he just want to bother people? Maybe. Because that's the only thing we see him do.
I think it would have been narratively satisfying if Lillard had gotten something very small over the alien that leads him to essentially be like, it is war. And set up this rivalry. Mm-hmm. But, so, closing remarks.
Oh my god. This was such a frustrating watch. And we go into this thinking, like, it's a pilot and should it stay doomed? Where would this go?
I have no idea.
Like, to say that this should not stay doomed would mean that there's something unanswered that needs to be said. And, like, I've been racking my brain about this since we've watched it. For some sort of thread for why this would be a weekly show.
Right.
Where we need to know what's happening every week with these characters. And I have nothing. There are no stakes.
Nope.
Because, like, everyone he's with has already given up. So why should we care?
Yeah.
If every single character doesn't.
They say that those are the 8 most dangerous words in fiction. Mm-hmm. I don't care what happens to these people.
Mm-hmm. It's 8.
I counted on my fingers, guys. Those are the, like, I don't care about anybody. I don't care about, like, they're clearly trying to manufacture sexual tension between Isaac and Lynn.
I didn't even get that.
But there wasn't any chemistry. The only character I kind of liked was Irene.
Irene?
Jane Lynch.
Jane Lynch. I understood. Yeah, Jane Lynch, Jane Lynch was the only character that at least had self-preservation. So we actually saw her care about herself. Every other person there doesn't even care about their own life.
Right.
So why would I care?
So this is a hard stay doomed for me.
You're 0-2, Mr. Reubens.
Yeah, come on. Come on, Pee-wee.
Oh, man. It's just, like, it's unfortunate. And it's not even, to me, it wasn't even a fun stay doomed. Like,
no.
We've had ones in the past where it's like, this is worth watching and seeing because this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, like...
This is dumb.
Like how we were saying, it's worth watching Heat Vision and Jack.
Yeah. Even though I don't believe it should become a show, it's worth watching that pilot and seeing what it is.
Yeah.
This has no value to me at all.
No. This is just a rough... It's just a boring 20 minutes. Like, it kind of just... It reminds me of just like a subpar student film.
Yeah. I can totally get that. It looks more expensive because they use the university's really expensive cameras.
Yeah.
And their Air Force base. But yeah, there's nothing to this, and it's just... it made me very angry.
Yeah, this is a hard stay doomed for me.
It's not the worst thing we've watched on the show. It's the worst one episode we've watched, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. So, I don't know why this is number 3 on RI Pilots, but Reddit, you need to upvote better, because this was not a good time.
I think it might be because of Paul Reubens, and to be fair, the premise did sound more fun.
Yeah. But it made
and it's only got
sad.
25 upvotes. This is not a well-trafficked subreddit.
No, I guess you're right. So what are we doing next week?
The unaired pilot of the Lovecraftian steampunk black comedy by the makers of Hellboy, starring Paul Giamatti and David
No, we did this. We already did this bit, too.
Oh, but I still like this show.
Yeah, we already did The Amazing Screw-On Head.
I was hoping you'd forget. I like this.
What, are you just going to watch it again? Or do another episode on it?
Yeah.
I don't think our audience would like that.
Friend of the podcast, Jeff Stormer, would like that.
What are we watching next week?
Generation X from 1996, a live-action X-Men spinoff. Mutant teens with superhuman powers fight a renegade physicist with an evil mind control scheme. Characters include Emma Frost, Banshee, and Jubilee. Filmed in the X-Men movie mansion.
Yeah, I think this will be interesting.
Gotta hope so.
Yeah, we're sending RI Pilots hopefully off with a a good ending here. And hopefully by the time we record that one, we'll know what next month's theme is.
Yeah.
We're not sure yet because we left a poll up, and you need to tell us whether or not it's okay for us to do Razzie movies.
Yeah. Please let us do Razzie movies. They're fun.
Yeah.
The nominations for the Razzie movies are coming out today. Unfortunately, we record these in advance, so we don't know what they are yet.
No, we do
as
not.
of recording. But you can probably Google it right now if you're listening.
Yeah, go ahead and take a look. Laura, where can people reach out to us?
You can email us at thestaydoomedshow@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter at Stay Doomed.
And if you just want to talk to me about Paul Reubens and how he fell from grace and how, for some reason, I still like him despite the disappointment he leaves me with inside, I'm at TV's Noah.
And if you want us to do another episode about the amazing Screw-On Head, I'm at Priorities. Until next time, stay doomed.